floating around?
He loves Abbottabad, according to late night remarks that he's made in the
if
past.
you listen to him long enough.
Yeah. This is one of his favorite vacation spots.
So Chris with a well-deserved Friday off, spending it with family down in the Big Easy. So I'm filling in for him tonight. And, man, he picked a Friday night.
He did.
A big Friday night.
It's a great time to go on vacation. Yeah, busiest time of the work week.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, because football season always lands between September and December. But anyways, I'm not saying plan your wedding around football. I'm just saying. Anyways, we're going to get to Centennial against North and all that Big 8 action in a little bit. But Will, we want to talk about off the top Redlands East Valley and what they were able to accomplish tonight against the third-ranked team in the state from the Pac-5 division, Mission Viejo.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's the as we're getting straight in here, first victory for an Inland Empire team over Mission Viejo in 11 years.
So what do you think, Will? I mean, does this mean that they maybe are the team to beat? Here they come, the Wildcats running at Runner Stadium. We'll kind of talk about it as we go through the highlights. Sure. Shout out to Nelson Goins. Did you see him pointing at the camera as he came running out? Early in this one, Kylie Fitz and the Rev defense just nasty in the trenches.
Love
just
the
owning
slow-mo.
the line. So we know about the Rev defense and their shutouts.
Sure.
You know, what can you say about the Wildcats and what they were able to do against a Mission Viejo team that probably doesn't normally struggle scoring points?
No, I mean, but Rev's defense has given up just 19 points through 5 games. So, I mean, you had to think that something was going to break in this game, and the thing that broke was Mission Viejo's offense.
And here comes Fitz again. Pretty impressive what they did tonight.
Right.
So we had the prep dog in. He said the secondary was especially great. Rev did just enough on offense to move the ball. Austin DeCoud to Jesse Riley for the big gain here, all the way down to about the 10-yard line, and that would set up a field goal from David Massour. That would give the Wildcats a 3-zip lead. So I guess when you're Rev, you don't need to score a whole lot of points, right?
No, and they did just enough. I mean, you talk about those, Baltimore Ravens teams to bring the NFL references back for Chris Erkley, who's lacking this week. But I mean, you just got to do enough and let your defense take care of it if that's what you got.
And here was their one touchdown. It was kind of wacky play. Rev was punting. It looked like it touched Diablo player.
If that's how you score your one touchdown, well, hey, you don't even need offense.
Yeah, there's no offensive touchdowns. We had, the field goal, obviously, and a special team score here, and the defense did their part. But the Wildcats were there to pounce on the ball in the end zone.
Right.
Tanner Shreve came up with it with the touchdown for Redlands East Valley. That made it 10-zip Wildcats over the Diablos after that touchdown. So the best offense is a good defense and special teams, I guess, in that one. There's a good look at Tanner after that huge play to make it 10-zip. Mission Viejo did have some great chances in the red zone just before halftime. The tip pass lands in the hands of Daniel Gonzalez for the interception. So it remained 10-0 at the break. So we fast forward to the fourth quarter.
That goal line stand.
Yeah, talk about it, Will. I mean, how huge was this?
They called it the turning point in the game. I believe it was Coach Kurt Bruich, friend of the show, that said that really set the tone for the entire rest of the game. Obviously. Yeah,
they were down there. I call it the doorstep because it was probably less than 1 yard, and they were getting ready to punch it in. And Redlands East Valley really buckled down, and that was the only play we showed you was the fourth down. But they had the 4 opportunities to get it in, and fourth down, the place at Ted Runner Stadium was going crazy. And I was behind the goal line, and you could hear the Rev defenders talking about make or break it. We got to stop it, bend, don't break. We let them drive down, but let's keep them out of the end zone.
It's the sign of a good defense. I mean, you can give up all the yards in the world as long as you don't let them get in the end zone.
And they did. They did give up a late touchdown, but nevertheless, keeping them out during that play was huge for the Wildcats. So, Rev's victory continues the Inland Division's dominance against the Pac-5.
Right.
And Will, when you hear the Pac-5, what do you think? I mean, because these are big-time programs.
Obviously. I mean, you think, as we said before, the Mission Viejo won, their only loss this year is to Don Bosco Prep, which is, probably the top high school team in the nation. But it's strangely enough, Temescal Canyon, the last team to beat Mission Viejo 11 years ago. It's one of those names that you just almost get the recognition factor, and it gives you goosebumps. I mean that is California high school football to a T, especially in Southern California. To get a win really speaks volumes. And
last week, Vista Murrieta repaid the favor to Crespi, going on the road to Encino and picking up that victory. So
Chaparral beating Tesoro. I mean, I didn't believe that one. I had to do a double take that one last week. But yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, and Chaparral struggled, I think it was with Indio.
Yeah.
I think it was. So it's kind of hard to figure out the Pumas this season.
7 turnovers overall in that game for Chaparral.
So as you can see, the Inland Division 5-4 against the Pac-5. And the Pac-5, you could go down the list. Long Beach Poly, Santa Margarita, the Mission Viejo, who Redlands East Valley defeated today. So Redlands East Valley picking up the quality win against the team from the Pac-5, Mission Viejo, ranked number 3 in the state. So we'll see what that means for Rev when it comes time to the Inland Division rankings. So that was the top team from the Citrus Belt League, but now we're moving to the San Andreas League. We had a matchup here, Cajon and San G. And
Shocker.
San G, actually put up a pretty good fight, right, against the Cowboys.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and we watch them start running wild here, but
Jeremy Nasir breaking this one long run.
I mean, usually it's Cajon that's running all over people, and San Gregonia they got a little offense going.
Yeah, San G went up 7-zip. The Cowboys, you knew they'd answer. They got the Casey twins. This one's DeAndre Casey ripping off the long run here. He turned that into a touchdown and make it 7-7. And then more from Cajon, their quarterback Edwin Martinez coming up.
He's a strange one, Edwin Martinez. I mean, he's a guy that can throw the football a little bit, but a little unorthodox at lefty.
Yeah, he's kind of a big guy. I saw him. I thought he was a linebacker at first, and maybe he was in a prior life. But he can throw the ball very well. Hooks up there with Kendrick Gaines, and they'd capitalize. But San G led 10-7. Martinez now going downfield.
Looks like what Colt McCoy did to, or the younger McCoy did to UCLA.
Case McCoy,
a couple weeks
you're
ago.
right. You're right. Here comes Martinez. And that's Casey with the final score.
Nifty.
That was actually Cajon's first lead of the game, and they won 20-16. So is San G just, even though it was a loss,
sure.
I don't know if there's such a thing as a good loss, but is San G kind of gaining some momentum? Or
I mean, San G's got some players. I mean, Ryan Hunter Sims is a guy that can really get the I guess game going on the defensive side of the ball. And then for offense, Jamie Snowden in that game led all carriers. I believe it was 156 yards on 17 carries. I mean, he's a guy that's gotten it going the past couple weeks on the offensive side of the ball. And really, in that league, I mean, some of those stars. I mean, obviously we talked about the Kazeys. If you got a star, I mean, you can do some damage because I don't think it's really defensive premium sort of a league. And I mean, you saw that tonight.
You still like Cajon though as the favorite, the front runner in the San Andreas.
I mean, when you've got, we mentioned the stars. I mean, you got a guy like Casey that can really, be a game changer. Just one carry is all it takes. One reception is all it takes. One wildcat snap is all it takes. That's a tough weapon to stop.
So maybe San G could be in the mix if Cajon is the front runner. San G could certainly be in the mix as the runner up, maybe in that league.
I don't think there's any question about it. No. Mm-mm.
So San G hanging tough with the Cajon Cowboys, but losing 20-16. Your final score in San Andreas League action. The Inland Valley League, battle of undefeated teams. Will the Rancho Verde and Valley View tonight?
It was kind of the theme of the night. Was a little bit of a letdown in terms of what we were expecting.
Yeah, Valley View picked up that big win against Arlington last week, and everyone was pretty excited. We had the big story in the paper of Michael Harrison, who, deservedly so. He's a great player.
Ran wild. It's been running wild.
That Valley View actually had a shot in this one. There's Rico Green from the Rancho Verde. I say that because they look just like Ohio State to me. And Rancho Verde's just got so many weapons on this team.
Who's he trying to juke there at the end of that run? He was just giving a little dance to the referee. Check this.
Well, let's see.
His
little high step, a little bit,
man.
Little Neon Dion somewhere in there.
Breaking the knees of a few referees in that backfield over there.
Well, Green gets in for the touchdown for the Mustangs. That made it 9-zip in the first quarter. And Valley View trying to get something going. They're actually going to the air, although Michael Harrison on the ground's their main weapon.
Right.
And they got the pass there, but nothing would happen. Rancho Verde did get
somehow that led to a Rancho Verde field goal.
But here is the Valley View field goal. They exchanged field goals. Nevertheless.
And that's about it for Valley View.
Yeah, it really was in this one as Rancho Verde continued to go through the air, which is kind of funny because the Mustangs have that stable of running backs. They've got a ton of weapons, but they can throw the ball too. Rancho Verde once again, another touchdown pass.
Carlos Hernandez looks like the real deal. I mean, just watching him back there, he looks like a legit pocket passer.
Very comfortable, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then one more. This is going to be
that's Redmond.
Breon Redmond, you're right.
Friend of the show.
That was the final score for the Mustangs. 38-3 was your final. So the Rancho Verde improves their undefeated record.
I can't see them doing anything but remaining undefeated. I mean, the rest of that Inland Valley, it's no disrespect to it, but Rancho just kind of on another level than those teams right now.
So who do they still have? Maybe like Arlington? Could maybe Arlington surprise them?
Maybe. I don't see Canyon Springs certainly surprise them. I don't see a team like Moreno Valley surprising them. I don't necessarily see a Ramona. Arlington would be with the Fasavalu, or however you pronounce that kid's name.
Kofavalu, yeah.
Kofavalu,
yeah.
With him fully healthy, maybe it's a little bit of a different story. But right now, Rancho is on a different level than the rest of that league.
Well, that begs the question in the Central Division. We just saw Cajon in the highlights. Then we just saw Rancho Verde. They're 1 and 2, respectively. Cajon's 2, Rancho Verde 1 in the Central Division rankings right now. Maybe a possible championship game between these two teams.
Right now, I think you got to pick Rancho. I mean, they haven't really shown any of the chinks that Cajon showed tonight. Rancho have been kind of breezing through it.
Now, if Chris Erkley was here, we have Palm Springs at number 3. He'd probably mention the old PS, and
you would not be able to escape that,
sneaking in there somehow in the championship game. But we haven't really seen Palm Springs up close. But the Rancho Verde, I've seen them a couple of times, and man, they are very good. They're loaded. They are number 4 in our HS Game Time rankings right now, and then Cajon, they are number 5. So two very good teams.
Yeah, they don't get a lot of love from us because of their sort of weak non-conference schedule, but probably deserve maybe a little bit more than we're giving them at this point because they haven't, like we said, shown a whole lot of weakness.
All right, so we've touched on some of the games. The Rev victory against Mission Viejo was the big one, but also tonight we're going to get to the Big 8 in our next segment. The Big 8 League tonight, some surprises that Centennial was able to beat North, but how they beat North. I mean, a lot of people going into this thought, this all Huskies battle might actually be a close battle, and Centennial on their home field showed why they're still the cream of the crop in the Big 8.
I don't think got to come back in the second segment to see how they did it.
All right, so we'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about what Santiago was able to do tonight. Maybe turn some heads, the Sharks. So keep it here on HS Game Time Late Night. I'm Pep Fernandez with Will C. Holden.
Welcome to Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac, the #1 volume dealership in Riverside and San Diego counties. It's the Chevrolet season of doing. Get behind the wheel of a select new 2011 Chevy model and take advantage of 0% APR financing plus $1,000 in bonus cash. Go for the rugged 2011 Avalanche or Colorado, the rough and tumble Silverado, or even a Suburban, Tahoe, or Traverse model. Hurry into Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac today. We're conveniently located at 27360 Inez Road between Winchester and Rancho California Road in Temecula.
Do you enjoy watching HS Game Time live on Friday nights? If you do, then you'll love HSGT's Roundup. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, myself and Chris Erkley will bring you all the high school sports action from volleyball to boys water polo, even girls tennis. You name it, we'll have it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at hsgametime.pe.com.
We're Mr. Marietta Cheer, and you're watching HS Game Time Live.
Hi, it's me, Alicia Renna from Bar's Furniture. If you've got to come down and see what's new, we're now carrying Simply Amish, all solid wood and American made, handcrafted and signed by each artist that builds your furniture. Simply Amish makes every type of furniture for your home. They use 5 different species of wood and have over 50 different colors to choose from. So come in and come home to Bar's Furniture, voted #1 in 2010 by the Press Enterprises Reader's Choice Awards. We're located at 5664 Mission Boulevard in Riverside.
And welcome back to HS Game Time Late Night. I'm joined by Will C. Holden here, and Will, we have a guest on the phone. North is enjoying a great season, but they had a tough time with Centennial tonight. Who do we got on the phone?
I got on the phone Garrett Biggers tonight. He's a guy that had himself a decent game in North's, a tough one. But obviously, we wanted to talk a little bit just about the success North has had this year. And Garrett's a guy that's been with the program, has stuck with the program through some lean times. And Garrett, first, before we get into talking about today's game with Centennial, just chat a little bit about, just the turnaround for North this year and what it's meant for you, a guy that's been around for some of the hard times.
Last year had a tough season, 2-8, and everyone just had doubts in us, and this year when we beat Alamany, which was ranked number 7 in the state, a lot of people were, saying good job and you guys are going to do lots. So, after that game, we kind of got big-headed and thought we could just beat everybody and anybody. And tonight, I guess we kind of just lost focus and underestimated. We really didn't underestimate them because we all knew they were a great football team. So, we just kind of weren't playing our best game, and one of our star receivers, Aaron Peck, got hurt early in the game,
Sure.
So a couple of players had to step up in his position.
Sure.
A couple of youngsters, so
sure.
Yeah, we had kind of a tough time tonight.
And talk about the Aaron Peck injury. Obviously, you're a guy that's close with Aaron, being a fellow wide receiver, and was matched up with the guy, Isaac Kalunga, for Centennial, that's really had a heck of a year as a cornerback. And I know Aaron made a nice move, had a 42-yard catch, and then got tackled, got the injury, then kind of came back after the injury and ended up getting dinged up again in the end zone. Just talk about, how hurt was he? Is it a high ankle sprain? Was he in a lot of pain on the sideline?
He says he wasn't in a lot of pain the first time he got hurt, but when he tried to go back out there, he says, I don't think I'm going to go back out there, So he kind of just took it easy for the rest of this game. And we try to make big plays without him, but, he's a really big part of the offense, along with Justin Georgie and Marcus Ball and Disco Foster.
Right.
So,
And even with the injury, though, Garrett, you guys had a heck of a first half offensively, 700 yards between the two teams. Was that really kind of something both were expecting, that it was going to be kind of a track meet like that?
Yeah, I kind of knew it was going to be just like a track meet, exactly.
And you are a track star as well. Is there any crossover for you there? You like that style?
Yeah, I do actually.
And talk about, as we're taking a look at one of your track photos, how have you been able to kind of bring that over to the football side of things?
Where I use my track speed mostly is when I get in the open field, where usually most people use it. More like kickoff returns, because I also play kickoff returns as well as receiver. So when I get in the open field, I like to bring the track out.
There you go. And was talking with your dad earlier today, Garrett, and he had said initially you were interested in possibly heading to Roosevelt and going to school there. That's kind of where all your friends were going to school, and you ended up going to North just because of some of the football programs, some of the opportunities at North. Talk about how tough that was initially.
About the Roosevelt, all my friends, from Junior All-American were going there, and I just wanted to go with them, and one of my players, there's a couple players on Centennial that played tonight that was with me that went to Roosevelt, number 10, Isaac Crandall.
Right.
I used to play with him when we were little, and he went to Roosevelt, but then he, left too. So, it was not that hard of a decision because I live not too far from North.
Right.
So, it's kind of the best decision for me. And, I like North a lot, really. And, Coach Brady is a great coach, and I like his program, and I like the way he coaches.
And, your dad had talked about, the new coaching staff there with Mark. Obviously you guys went through some lean years, and especially for you, you mentioned the Junior All-American program. You were on a very successful Junior All-American program. Talk about dealing with that at first, and talk about how good it feels to come out of it now, with a team that's 4-1, a team that's looking to make a little bit of noise here this year.
Yeah, Well, when I played for my junior All-American team, we would never lose a game until like the championship came, you know. So kind of coming into North freshman year and sophomore year, I kind of really wasn't used to losing. So last year when we went 2-8, I kind of wasn't used to it. But again, we had a new coach and new coaching staff and all that, and Coach Praise is trying to get settled in with North again.
Sure.
Because he coached it recently, so this year we're just trying to make a comeback, for North. So yeah.
And talk about Centennial tonight, Garrett. Are they the real deal? Is this a team that looks like the team last year that everyone was talking about, that the offense was clicking on all cylinders?
They're good, but I don't think they're the team they were last year,
You're not going to give it to them just yet?
No, they have, last year they have Larry and Barrington and all them.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not going to say they're bad, but they're not as good as they were last year.
I don't know. Romello Goodman had 226 yards tonight, man. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, Goodman, he's really fast. I never thought he was that fast until today.
But Garrett, does he look faster, or maybe he's better because he has that huge offensive line in front of him?
Both, actually. I believe he's gotten faster, and his offensive line is incredible,
Hey Garrett, you said you knew some of the Centennial kids like Isaac Crandall. Did you have any conversations or any contact with him leading up this week before the game?
No, we just kind of chilled out until after the game.
So no smack talk? None of that?
No.
Garrett, I hear you're a talker, man. You're telling me there was no mess between you and Isaac before this one?
No, there wasn't.
EPJ, one of our esteemed writers here, was telling me that there was a little bit of smack talk going on in North's practice this week. You guys having some fun. You mentioned you're a kickoff returner. You got tackled by the kicker a couple times this week, man. What's going on with that?
I mean, during the kickoff returns, we were kind of messing around, which is something we probably shouldn't have done. So, yeah, that was a big mistake by all of us,
Big mistake getting tackled by a kicker, man. What's going on with this?
He's a big guy. We weren't really supposed to block the kicker, and he's not really supposed to run downfield. So he ran downfield and just hit me.
Hey, man, as long as you got an excuse, that's fine by me. Good deal. So, Garrett, we appreciate you staying up, and certainly, after a tough game, it was very gracious of you. But your dad says you're a kid that once you get in something, that, committed to being there tonight for us, that you came through with it. So I'm a believer now, man. I've seen it, and I believe that you guys have a team that might just be able to come through for the rest of the year. Talk just a little bit about the next test that lies ahead for you. What are you looking forward to now on your schedule? What are you guys hoping to accomplish with the rest of the year?
I mean, you can't look past any teams, including teams you might not think that are that good. Like, this next coming week, we have Pauley for our homecoming game. And, some of our teammates were saying, yeah, we're going to destroy them and everything. But, we were looking for Norco coming up because, Norco's a big team.
Right.
And, I'm saying Norco's the last game of the year,
Mm-hmm.
You can't look past, Roosevelt and King, no matter what they went through, because, last year, most of the teams blew us out by, 20 or more points. So, we can't look past anybody.
On the redemption trail this year, right, my friend?
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, well, Garrett Biggers from North High, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it here on HS Game Time Late Night.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Garrett. Yeah, the Big 8 League is a better league all the way around, I think, when North is good. So it's good to see that Garrett and the Huskies are enjoying a good season. A tough loss tonight against Centennial, but nevertheless, North is enjoying a pretty good season right now.
Sure. Yeah, and you've, like you said, it's good for the Big 8 League, even though the Big 8 League, kind of had some interesting matchups tonight with, a Norco game going a little bit awry for Norco and all that kind of stuff. But, it's always been a competitive league, certainly one of the more competitive ones in this area.
Yeah, real quick, Santiago beat Norco 49-22. So you have, let's say you have Centennial on top, and then following Centennial,
right,
could be a real mess. North, Santiago, Norco. Maybe you even throw Roosevelt in there.
Sure.
I mean, so Will, what do you think of the Big 8 beyond Centennial?
Boy, the Norco one baffles me right now. Not just because of Norco, but because of who did it to Norco. Santiago was a team that I had seen just get blasted and controlled by Vista Murrieta, and they come out tonight. Michael Dar, 5 total touchdowns, is a guy that when he wants to can be probably one of the better quarterbacks in this area, if not the top quarterback in this area. And Steinberg getting the 100th win tonight over there for Santiago, and just one of those games where they get a few pieces back. Roosevelt Monk, a guy that returns at running back. I think he'd been ineligible. I think Nick Little had some eligibility issues as well, wide receiver. Both those guys contribute tonight, and Norco gets lit up. A team that was looking like they're going to be world beaters this year, and now have some big questions.
And rumor has it that Santiago plays Centennial this upcoming Friday. How do you think that could shake down?
The rumor is indeed correct, and it's tough to say. I didn't think Santiago had a chance this week, but there are certain games you can get up for.
Yeah.
And Centennial is definitely one of them.
I think when you're Centennial, you get everybody's A game when they play you. So
I think so.
All right. Well, I'm new to HS Game Time Late Night. You guys do a what you're saying segment. What's this all about?
This is kind of it's actually would have to point out that up to this point, I mean, usually we're just trying to recover at this point in the show, and right now I'm feeling good. Things are going smooth, and so
Chris isn't here. This is funny how it all kind of coincides.
I don't think that's a coincidence at all, actually. But just the what you're saying segment here, we kind of try and get out there into the world, onto the World Wide Web mostly, and find some videos, some things. And this week we found some interesting stuff. In particular, our big game of the night was Mission Viejo Rev. Last week it got a little bit heated. With Snoop Dogg, actually.
The old Snoop-a-loop?
The old Snoop Loop.
Yeah.
He had some not so nice things to say about Mission Viejo in general, and went ahead and used Twitter as his forum to do so. And I believe we have some of the shots of his Twitter posts. If we could possibly toss those up there.
I'm sure Snoop Dogg is all over Twitter, right?
Here we go. I had some fun with this one because I think Snoop had probably had his tagging days, and so I tagged his post up a little bit here.
Oh, does he? He doesn't cuss, does he?
Never.
Oh, okay.
Snoop Dogg would never do that in his lyrics or his Twitter account. But as you can see, Poly Freshman, which is Snoop Dogg, is actually the coach of Long Beach Poly's freshman team.
Is he really?
He is.
Indeed. I did not know that.
Poly Freshman kicked Mission's W.
Uh-huh.
Like I said. So FYI, blank is next Mr. Johnson, who is Mr. Johnson would be
Bob Johnson.
Yes, Bob Johnson,
Yeah.
Mr. Viejo coach. 1, 2, 3. As you can almost hear him saying that.
Yeah, drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, absolutely. They were not dropping Mission, as a matter of fact, though. They got blasted pretty good by Mission Viejo, unlike Rev. So, I mean, what does that say about Rev? And but this obviously went on back and forth. I believe Rev had, or not Rev, but Mission Viejo had a response for it.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, I forget. I'm not sure if
was it friendly, or were they excited that Snoop Dogg was calling them out?
I believe one particular Mission Viejo quarterback had said "real classy" was his hashtag for Mr. Snoop Dogg. Here you go, culmination of the Poly Week.
Yeah.
Alex Bigford says, "Go to Snoop Dogg's Twitter and see what he thinks of us. Real classy."
That's funny.
And so I got to thinking, since there's been, so much chatter going on between these two schools that, obviously Rev would want to partake in this as well.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, and I'm blanking on his name right now, but is it DeCund, their quarterback over there?
Austin DeCoux.
DeCoux.
Yeah.
He has a very creative Twitter name. I believe if we could pull up his Twitter profile real quick here. But I figured, he's going to want to get on the Twitter act this week.
Yeah.
A little bit of a chit chat. But
hopefully drag Snoop Dogg into this guilt by association with Mission Viejo.
Right.
That was video from the game tonight. So Austin DeCoux is number 8. And what's his...
It's DeCond. That was kind of his play on words. Hasn't said a word yet, Austin. It's completely blank. I got so excited, and then I show up on his... Because I'm like, oh, wow, he's on Twitter. This is going to be great.
Oh, what's he tweeting? He's probably has really interesting, compelling stuff.
It is quite literally a goose egg.
Twitter is stupid.
Lewis believes that not only is there a goose egg on Austin DeCond's Twitter profile, but also Twitter is just stupid.
Twitter in general, right?
Can you come on?
Twitter's stupid.
Twitter is very it's.
Wait.
Dave Zink, I believe, has an opinion on this as well.
Zink.
That he would
Big
like to voice.
Hello?
Try it now.
Can you hear me now?
I think I can hear you.
I can totally hear Dave Zink. I want to hear your Twitter opinion.
Twitter's awesome. I love watching people tweet and what they have to say. And the best part about it is they don't have a chance to think about what they're saying. They usually say things they probably never would say anywhere on Facebook because they actually get to see. They put it up before they get to see what they're saying.
Right.
Yeah, and before you can delete it,
right.
We'll see Holden's on there making a copy of it to use in the
screenshot,
show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, screenshot.
Yeah. The Cood who's afraid to tweet anything.
Exactly. He's just. What does that say about Oscar?
It may be for the best.
Save it for Facebook.
I'm a creeper, so I like creeping around and reading what people have to say.
Yeah, it says
he is a big creeper. He likes to just go.
How about Eric Lee, who comments on everything and even posts on Facebook or Twitter? I mean, he's out of hand.
He is.
He's probably watching this right now at 3 o'clock in the morning.
No, I think he's alligator hunting.
What are those big rats they have there? What are those things?
Muskrats?
No. They're like a big. I think they're called nutrias.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
I'm sure if there's a rat in New Orleans, Erkley will find it.
They're like 10 feet tall.
Well, I just looked on Facebook and he said he was on some great alligator deal, nighttime alligator hunt.
Nighttime alligator hunts. That's what they're calling it these days.
Is that something you'd actually pay for?
Oh yeah.
Erkley was paid for a lot more than that. Let me tell you.
Wow.
He's a gentleman.
And there's Big Z on the left.
Back to football.
Back to football. Let's get back to the action.
So yeah, so Snoop Dogg and Mission Viejo kind of spilled over. We were hoping maybe to the Redlands East Valley game, but
I think we'll just show. I think we'll just show this
Yeah.
sequence here. Let me just play it. Is this where he gets stuffed? Yeah.
Yeah. Kylie Fitz, a guy named
Let's
Kylie.
back that up again.
What are we doing with this? This is have our producers gone rogue behind the camera over here?
Well, we're just kind of slappy.
It's just far past our bedtimes, or a bit delirious.
Well, I mean, when you cover the Inland Empire for as long as a lot of us have, and you see an Orange County team,
for as long as two people in this conversation
one
have.
coached by a Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, when you see a Johnson coach team like this happen to him, that's fun.
It's funny when I was watching the Wildcats come out into the field for the first time. Some of the players were saying they were looking at all the stands because Ted Runner Stadium was full. The U of R was packed, and they said, all of our friends, all of our family, like we all didn't come out here to lose to the third-ranked team in the state. They said we're coming out here because we want to show them that they call it the East Side, that the East Side can ball with the OC, and they proved it tonight. The defense and special teams coming up huge.
Was Senior Brook there tonight? Was Dick there tonight? Prep Dog? Was Dick Brook there tonight against the mighty Rep?
We have lost total control of this show. Pat.
Yeah, I think
he's what?
Prep Dog was like he's over there buying corduroys on Sears online or something. I'm not quite sure.
This show is spilling into
We're more important than you guys.
Yeah, it's spilling into the newsroom at this point. Jeff Perenni is just riveted with this conversation right now.
He's half asleep over there.
I just hope someone saved me a donut, and Will and I both a donut.
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna need it after this show.
You guys eat them all.
Yeah. Well, Erkley's not here tonight, so
there's the culprits.
There's probably a few left.
Lewis, Big Z, and Jeff Parenti.
I have not had one. My girlish figure tonight is shining through. All right, we're done with you.
Speaking of girlish figures, we actually have a rather girlish figure in our next What You're Saying a portion of this segment.
Wow, I want to see where this goes.
Yeah. Derek Turin, quarterback. He's actually the leading passer in the Inland Empire as of right now. As we get a look at Derek. Let's get a look at Derek in drag. Shots by, here you go. I've got a little cell phone camera. If we could get the sound.
This is like a Spirit Week kind of thing?
Can we get the sound on this by chance?
Yes. You got it. It's playing for the worldwide audience.
Okay.
I'd have to say a dead drowning victim.
He's
blue.
He's talking about. I don't want to interrupt. But I had to answer his question.
They call blue people.
And the particular question he got was, if you had to describe the color blue to a blind person, how would you describe it?
And
he had said, I would say that it looked like a person who had just died of suffocation.
Yeah, Dad.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, sir. If you were to describe the color blue to a blind person, how would you do that?
I'd have to say a dead drowning victim. Blue. You have to describe by a dead drowning victim.
It was one of my favorite clips of the week because it combined cross-dressing with dead drowning victim. victims.
Weird.
That's the only way you describe Blue as a dead drowning victim?
I would say like Smurfs.
Where's he go to school at again?
I believe it's Temecula Valley.
And more importantly, Will stumbles across these things.
Well, actually, here's the more you know. If you Google Derek Turin in quotation marks, that video is the first thing that pops up.
First thing that pops up.
First thing that pops up. So I figured, hey, he's our leader in passing. Let's find out what's going on with him. Cross-dressing video. First thing that pops up. And
maybe we can get him for like the first ever, our HSGT, powder puff tournament.
Absolutely.
He could be like the royal court of it. What do you think?
the master of ceremonies.
Master of ceremonies.
Not a bad idea. And we actually caught up with him just to chat a little bit, and we've got some audio just kind of him explaining.
Actually, I don't have it. I'm having some issues. I had issues with 2 of them. I apologize.
Well, great. He kind of explained.
I think he explained a lot, didn't he?
He did explain a lot, actually.
He has a lot to explain.
He does have a lot to explain. I believe he chatted just a little bit about why reasons for the hot start for Temecula Valley, who are 4-1 now after several rough seasons. Hadn't started, I believe, with 2 straight wins in about like 5 or 6 years. Did that tonight or did that this season. And, he's kind of been leading the resurgence without Kassan Kennedy as a guy that's been really their workhorse on the ground. He's been throwing the ball a little bit this year as evidenced by his stats. And then he just kind of explained that he was dressed up like a female because he was at a church trip, which makes sense because clearly that's when you would want to do your cross-dressing, at a church trip.
And he needs a mirror. I think the lipstick was a little overdone.
Apparently they did the lipstick when someone was blindfolded. So
really?
Explain a little bit of it as well.
The big Joker face.
Right.
Nevertheless, it was pretty funny though.
Absolutely.
I apologize for that. I was over there yawning and falling asleep from it there. I apologize.
He was busy being the star of the show that he's not the star of.
That's right.
Exactly.
Well, I've turned it over to you guys, so I have to get involved more often.
Do we have more tweets or videos or random stuff that you stumble across?
That is the last girl we're gonna put on the show tonight.
Hey, Will, and you thought the show was going great earlier.
It was. You guys just derailed it. If there was one thing that could, it was the 2 guys behind the camera.
It's a slippery slope.
It is.
Hey, don't put it on me, man. Those were lame.
Those were lame. That's the thing. When you guys just managed to drop things that I work for all week, that makes it a little bit
we
lame.
haven't seen you all week. You were sort of here, and then you weren't here. You were like in Dallas or something like that, weren't you?
It's actually known as Murrieta.
Oh, Murrieta. That's right.
It's the Dallas of the West. People.
Do you have a real job there, Will C. Holden?
They're paying me, so.
Are they?
I would like to think that I call that a real job.
Yeah. The fact that you're extorting money from somebody doesn't mean you have a job.
But by definition, yes, it does.
Wow, this high school football talk is just
spiraling out of control.
Man.
Once more.
Well, earlier you guys missed it because Zink and I had a really compelling argument about the Ramona Rams and the Murrieta Mesa Rams. So, see, it's always exciting here in HS Game Time Live.
What was the conversation?
You're just going to end it at that?
No, we've been arguing.
The original Ram.
The original Ram. We're talking about original mascots, and like the criteria was Riverside County.
There's absolutely nothing original about the Rams because it's.
Yeah, well, there's nothing original about the Broncos either. There's nothing original about, what was we were doing like, okay, so originals.
Huskies.
Huskies, right? Original team. The original Huskies were the
Washington Huskies.
No, John W. North Huskies.
Before you dub,
Riverside County football, and then who usurped them? Who was the usurper? Centennial.
Exactly. Somebody got usurped tonight, and it sure wasn't Centennial.
Centennial looked awfully good.
It was dog on dog crime.
Yeah. Centennial, basically, if they had their way, North would have to change their mascot completely. I think that would probably have to happen at this point.
Yeah, I suppose
that's going to be a segment next week. By the way, the original mascots and because we were talking about Zink's alma mater, the Notre Dame Titans, right? Usurped by Temescal Canyon.
Yeah.
And that Tahquitz school out where I live.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There's not much usurping going on out where he lives these days.
No.
Yeah.
Well, with that forfeit, they're like I think the teams now are 1 or 3. The 4 high schools. How many unifieds got 4 high schools, and they're like I don't know.
It's rough.
2 and 15 or something.
They'd be
like
lucky
that.
to win as many games as Banning has players this year.
That's right.
What else you got for us, guys?
Hard times.
Contest winners.
Is that our next segment?
Contest winners is our next segment.
Go ahead and go to the contest.
All right,
the breaks here.
No breaks.
The You Pick'em contest on our website where you go on each week and you pick the winners of the games, and there's a tiebreaker game where you actually pick the score, and it's free. and it's fun. And you can go on there at any point during the season. You should have done it already, but if you haven't, there's still plenty of time to go on there, and you can compare how you're doing against some of our experts around the HS Game Time Studios, as well as everyone else out there. Our overall winner, we're going to take a look at some of the scores. Our overall winner this week on the You Pick 'em contest on the website was Alex Espinoza from Yucaipa. He won this week. He got 18 of the 20 games. Yes. Maybe he's a big Thunderbirds fan. We're not quite sure. But he had the score he had for Centennial was 45-38.
It's pretty close.
Well,
it's not bad.
He knew it was going to be high scoring. He just, what was the final?
I think it was 36-26 was the
I got 52-34.
I'm sorry. It was 36-26 was the average fan score, so they miffed on that. We all miffed on that.
Yeah, he was real close. 52-34 was the actual score. He said 45-38, and he got 18 out of 20. So congratulations, Alex Espinoza from Yucaipa. Of the 20 games in our You Pick 'em contest tonight, he got 18 of those.
Pat, how did you do tonight? Since we're just typically dogging you in the show, I figured or maybe huskying you in the show.
Here's the deal, Will C. Holden. I really thought this was my night to close the gap on at least Dave Zink, because right now I'm in last in the cellar. I thought I was going to close the gap on Zink and yourself, because you're actually only a couple games ahead of me as well.
In the paper picks, I like to point out I'm still number one.
And that's where it counts, I guess, because you're in the paper.
Newspaper, print product, man. It's the future.
But overall, in our HS Game Time staff, last year's champion, Dr. Pete Tachonsky, he's got 108 overall, still the leader. Looks like he's going to go back-to-back if someone doesn't get their act together. EPJ, though, is on his heels, and then Miriam, Prep Dog, Jeff Perini. Ercles in the middle, Tim Dutton.
Very average is Chris Ercole.
And then Lewis, he starts bringing up the bottom dwellers.
Lewis, I think Lewis picked Rev this week.
I did too. I had Rev.
You had Rev as well?
I really did.
Wow.
I really did.
I can't pick a team from the OC. No, I can pick Beaumont, but I can't pick a team from the OC.
That's just flat discrimination.
And then Will,
at its finest.
You're third to last.
Let's look at these paper picks. Can we get like a zoom in up here? I don't think we can.
We should do an investigation about your picks.
We should. With the investigation, I will give it to you right now. I did not do any of them until tonight, and I think after tonight, like my picks actually ended up being worse than the computer would have picked for me. So
it's better just not to think.
Clearly, I should not have listened to my instincts this week.
We think EPJ won at least for this week 17 out of 20, which is still. One less than Alex Espinoza from Yucaipa.
Yeah. Well, the only one that EPJ really missed was North.
Right? He missed that one badly, though.
Oh, it wasn't badly. I mean, come on.
It looked way better than it looked better because of the final score. That game wasn't that close.
It was out of hand.
Yeah, the game was not that close.
Speaking of that, let's go to the scoreboards as we finish the night.
Indeed. All right, brought to you by Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac in Temecula. Will. They have standards for excellence, so we want to thank them very much for sponsoring our scoreboard, Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac. We start in the Big 8, and the big one where Centennial thrashed North 52-34. North, as we said, talked to Garrett Biggers, having a great season, but Centennial's a tough team to beat, especially on their home field. Also from the Big 8, Corona and King.
Shane Trulove gets in on that one. One of the friends of the show, too, replaced Levi Plant and had some nice yards.
Yeah, they got it done. Someone had to win, and Corona got it done with Trulove. Santiago, Norco, Will, you said you were a little surprised by this score.
So surprised, man. I mean, Michael Darr goes wild. 100 victory for Jeff Steinberg, another friend of the show. A big-time win for Santiago.
All right, we continue on the Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac scoreboard. Roosevelt and Riverside Poly.
Brandon Rogers.
Yeah, flexing their muscles a little bit against Poly.
Yeah, finally gets in there. Aaron Crone, that quarterback, likely done for the season. Brandon Rogers has thrown just 3 passing touchdowns, 10 picks, and had 344 yards, 3 touchdowns in that one.
So he's filling in admirably there. To the Inland Valley League, the Rancho Verde and Valley View, 2 undefeated teams. They were both 5-0 to begin the night. And Rancho Verde hammering Valley View 38-3. Also from the Inland Valley, Arlington, they beat up on Moreno Valley 17-3.
Nice rebound win as Samson say it, man.
Kofavalu.
God, I'm just going to say Samson, and someone needs to complete that
Everyone
sentence
knows
for me.
who Samson is, yeah. So if you just go by Samson,
he recovered a fumble on that one, by the way.
This was a Thursday night game at Ramona. The Runnin' Rams beat Canyon Springs 35-15. Also from the Inland Valley, Vista del Lago and La Sierra hooked up tonight.
Still undefeated.
Yeah, quietly.
Good win for La Sierra there. I mean,
Boy, I tell you what, I think there was like a 52-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown that game. That helped. But La Sierra, boy, I mean they're taking care of business.
Now we move to the San Andreas League. Cajon and San G. Will, you said San G could be a force to be reckoned with. They keep it close against the Cowboys.
Yeah, that Jamie Snowden, watch out for him. 156 yards on that one on the ground.
So Cajon still looking like the team to beat in that league. They win 20-16. Rialto, man, they hammered Arroyo Valley 40-0. Your final score. Arroyo Valley drops to 0-5. Rialto's 4-1. Will.
Yeah, Rialto came up with 6 turnovers in that game, 3 interceptions and 3 fumble recoveries.
So they got it done Rev style on defense. Carter and Colton. Man, hard times for the Yellow Jackets this season. They lose to Carter 41-0, but Carter's 4-0.
Carter, yeah, I'm trying to look through my notes here real quick. Yeah, Galen Maxey, another one of those great names out there, rushed for 4 touchdowns in that one.
That'll do it. Also in the San Andreas Pacific, snaps a 20-game losing streak.
Right.
They beat San Bernardino, while San Bernardino is working on their own losing streak at this point right now. 24-7 your final.
Pirates' last victory. Do you know when it was?
I'm going to say it was against Jurupa Valley in the fall of 2009.
It was the fall of 2009, Redlands Citrus Valley. Though. You got the Valley part
that was
right.
my next guess.
Yeah, right.
Actually was.
Right.
Vista Murrieta, non-league game. Our number 1 team in the HSGT rankings, and they just keep on keeping on. 37-0 against Palisades.
Nick Stevens actually passing the ball in that one, 3 passing touchdowns. He hadn't really done that yet this year.
So they're proving they can go to the air as well. Summit,
I was at this
Mesa.
One. Man.
You were at this game?
Yeah.
What your thoughts?
I'm not quite sure why. I mean, they scored, who was it? Summit scored 2 touchdowns in like the first.
Dante Dion?
Yeah, Dion ran wild again. Had his first 2 interceptions of the year. And man, Murrieta Mesa looked like they just opened the school again.
Sounds like the Centennial game.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Except for Murrieta Mesa did not make it look pretty at all at the end. They just decided to keep throwing interceptions and fumbling.
Mesa was 4-0 heading into that game until they got knocked off by the Skyhawks. Chaparral, they had some trouble with Indio. It's kind of hard to figure these guys out, but they do pull off the win 28-10, so the Pumas are 2-3.
Miriam Swanson, who probably doesn't get enough recognition on this show, took the phone call from head coach Ryan Tukula. She'd said, "Oh, congrats on the win." He said, "No, don't. 7 turnovers is nothing to congratulate me about."
But they do get the W nevertheless. Bloomington and Paloma Valley. Paloma Valley wins 33-13 in this non-league contest.
Bert Esposito continues to spurn me. Whenever I pick against him, he wins. Whenever I pick him, he loses.
Just breaks your heart, breaks
does.
up your brackets, and that's why I'm going to close the gap on you, Will, soon enough.
It's
still in last place, though.
It could very well happen.
Jurupa Valley still has not lost a game this season. They beat Paris 15-6, your final score.
Feel good story of the year.
Yeah.
Jurupa Valley.
What about Paris? They were the feel-good story of the year
until he lost to Citrus Hill.
And Jurupa's Santana, I believe Berkeley's got some sort of name for him. 25 carries for 125 yards.
Santana, don't call me Santana the singer.
Absolutely.
One of those.
Absolutely. He's a bit repetitive.
The war for the wheel between Beaumont and Banning dating back to 1929, since the beginning of time, and Beaumont wins this one 38-0.
They still have like 8 years to go before they actually tie the series.
Yeah.
And maybe they will. Maybe
but
Banning will turn it around. And
it's entirely possible.
28 years.
We will keep waiting for that to happen. Redlands, East Valley, and Mission Viejo, and Rev really putting their stamp for inland area teams against these Pac-5 schools, right, Will?
Let's see if they can go another 11 years without notching another win over those guys.
Yeah, we might be scaring them off from the inland area schools. They might not come back after that loss to Rev tonight. CMI, Linfield Christian. We got highlights of this game at our website. Linfield Christian wins 10-6, the final score.
This was Linfield Christian's homecoming, and up until this point, CMI had been 5-0 in the last 3 years on people's homecomings. Apparently, people like scheduling CMI for homecoming.
And Linfield Christian got a win on their homecoming. Kaiser went up to the high desert of Hesperia. They win 45-10, so Kaiser's 3-2. After that victory.
Could be in danger of losing that league title streak to Summit, though, because, boy, Summit's looking good.
Watch out for Jurupa Valley.
Yeah, the dark horse.
The dark horse.
Story of the year.
The Cinderella story of the high school football season. Patriots, speaking of the high desert, they go up there to Victor Valley. They win 14-zip, the alma mater of our own Miriam Swanson, I've heard. So
yeah,
Victor Valley, that is.
Patriots without their kicker, but managed to make the score look normal by recording a safety.
Last time I was at Victor Valley High School was 1985.
Thank you for that.
And what were you doing up there, Lewis?
I don't remember.
Running track, running cross country?
Yeah,
Essentially, yes.
Or going up there to cover a rogue track meet.
Trying to forget about it.
Desert Hot Springs, Rim of the World, another classic matchup here. 49-22, Rim of the World. They win. That's great. Crean Lutheran, Sherman Indian.
Oh, Sherman Indian.
Yeah, well, rough game there. Crean Lutheran's 5-0. Sherman Indian winless, 0-4, 56-0, your final score. Faux High.
Saved the best for last here, Lewis. Boy, we're really...
Will, what can you say about the Steelers?
Faux High is actually 1-4 now. Thank you very much.
Yeah?
They got a forfeit win against Granite Hills.
Oh, you gotta be proud of those. Yeah, those.
And they followed it up in grand fashion.
And then we go ahead and disrespect them like that
Man,
by not including that
awful.
in their final record.
So Fontana's 1-4 despite a loss to El Rancho, 35-zip, your final score. Oh, we changed it automatically. The magic of the HS Game Time Late Night staff.
Do we need more scores?
Boy,
here we go. Eisenhower and Etowanda.
Yeah, this is a...
We speak so highly of Summit. Etowanda actually beat Summit. I think it was week 0. So Etowanda's actually got a pretty good
team. Yeah, Etowanda, despite the little bit of a lackluster record, has certainly given some teams like Vista Marietta and Summit a run for their money.
50-7, the final score in that one. Bloomington Christian, Avalon, and I was talking to Zink about this, Will. My only question about this game was, have you been to Catalina Island?
I have not. I need to get there.
They pretty much only drive golf carts.
Okay.
So I was asking Zink, how did they get the football team and all their gear and pads and whatever to the football field? You just got to walk it?
I think so.
Or a lot of golf carts.
Could you golf cart it to the field?
I don't think so, unless you're really fat.
How does that have anything to do with the golf?
It's late. It's very late around here. Harupa Hills loses to Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach is 5-0. They've got a...
Harupa Hills, apparently not the feel-good story of the year.
No, Harupa Valley, right?
Lewis?
Right. Cinderella story.
Awesome story. Undefeated.
There it is. We'll be following that.
Is
that
so.
it? That's
going to do it, man.
Game Time Late Night? That was the Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac scoreboard.
Yeah, no, we didn't. No parkour was partaken in tonight either. We kept it clean.
Now, I have to say, I haven't done this show before, but it went swimmingly without Eric Lee. Is that strange? Or?
By the way, just a little shameless plug here. We do have the homecoming ceremony for Centennial on the website. So in case you want to check that out.
Right, because there's nothing else I'd rather do in my time than watch that particular homecoming.
It was actually a very nice ceremony.
It was tasteful, was it? Was it very tasteful?
It was very tasteful, and it was efficient.
So Centennial scheduled north for their homecoming?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, 2-8 last year.
Right, based on that result, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Based on last year's record.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, based on last year's records.
They're 2-8.
So we're just going to attempt a clean player-for-player trade next week. Can I do that with Pep and Erkley? Can you guys take him off my hands for a week?
I'm just going to have Pep. What's the guy's name again? Erkley?
Erkley.
He's going to shoot.
Yeah.
He's not going to shoot.
He's a photographer.
He's been demoted.
He's been demoted.
Absolutely.
He can just stay in New Orleans.
yeah. I bet he fits in really well with his hair down there. They have a lot of fair-skinned people down there.
We were talking about whether or not if he walked. Well, anyway.
Hopefully he's covered that troublesome foot of his.
Can we share a quick story about Chris? I guess on his flight to New Orleans, he sat by Chris Klein, the actor who was Oz from the American Pie
The
movies.
full-on B-list was out for Chris Erkley on that flight.
So knock one of his front teeth out and he'd fit right in.
Yeah.
With the rats.
With the rats.
Oh, my goodness. All right, well, Chris will be back next week, I guess, right? I guess he'll be back next week?
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so.
Not.
Nevertheless, though, we had a great show for Dave Zink in the back and Louis Amistoy in his Harupa Valley
antics.
Yeah, he has quite the affection for Harupa Valley.
Those are antics.
We'll
Plain and simple.
that. So, well, Will, it's been fun on HS Game Time Late Night. It's been great.
It has been. I've enjoyed myself here. I'd got an hour every night to spend, and this is exactly where I wanted to be tonight.
And a big thanks to Garrett Biggers for coming on the show from North despite the loss to Centennial.
Hurry up, we're almost out of money.
Okay. We have been informed that the budget on the cameras is about to run out, like the Skype budget has numerous times.
So Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac, keep the funds coming. We're going to need it, I guess, if we keep talking. So, but thank you for
2 credit cards and 2 forms of ID for Skype.
Yeah, and I guess they're giving me a new car, so that's cool. And the Chevy Cobalt. So I like blue, like midnight blue, if you're wondering.
It's a good color. It's a good color.
All right. For Will C. Holden, I'm Pep Fernandez for HS Game Late Night. Chris Erkley will be back next Friday, and be sure to tune in to HS Game Time Live, and as well as the HSGT Roundup every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night as we cover the non-football sports such as volleyball, water polo, tennis, golf, you name it, cross country, of course, Lewis. We'll do that on the Roundup. So
keep watching it so I can keep exploiting people for money here, because apparently that's what I do.
So for the entire crew here, we thank you for watching HS Game Time Late Night. We'll see you next Friday night.